This one was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Casey in New Hampshire. In 1995, Mabel won the King of the Ring tournament, defeating Savio Vega in the final. Also in the tournament were The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. My question is, why did Vince go with Mabel? Why not have Shawn Michaels beat The Undertaker in the final? Or have Shawn beat Mabel? That would have been 3 years of great wrestlers winning, the first two being Bret and Owen. This would have been a great push for Shawn towards winning the title in 96. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And we've gotten several other questions. Jim, King of the Ring 95, won by Mabel.
Oh, God. When was Watts in? When did Watts come in?
That was in September 95. August 95 he came in, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I was so happy for like 2 months. Because this was before I was up there as a member of the office. I was just coming in as a talent from Smoky Mountain, right? But long about the summer of 95, things were really getting fucking just rotten. And I was the epitome of that was Vince found the biggest human being, largest human being that he could possibly find, and decided he's going to make him a fucking star. And I mean, and I always liked Mo, Sir Mo. Bobby Horn, he'd actually been in the business. And, you know, he's from down south, he's from Tennessee, wherever the fuck, and he could work some. And Oscar, as we know, the manager, they found him. He jumped out at Vince in a hotel when they were at a pay-per-view and did a fucking impromptu rap. And somehow Vince said, oh, and now Vince knew a rapper. So when he needed a rapper, well, that guy raps. You know, that's how he got into business. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. And in Mabel, who is the biggest fucking human being in the world. And somehow Vince just sees the size and the face of the bleach blonde hair and the fucking ugly jaws, Richard Keel-like teeth, and the fucking... At first, they were going to be baby faces because somebody had told him, Vince, 5 years after the fact, that, you know, rappers were baby faces and it was popular. But then Mabel becomes a monster, you know, later. It just... And you could tell even after that fucking horrible run, and how many people did he hurt that first time around, sitting on him and dropping on him, and that he couldn't control that fucking weight. Then they tried it later on. He came back in the Attitude Era, Viscera. I'm not knocking this guy as a person. I didn't have that much interaction with him, but good God, it's just a giant human being that his most athletic trait was being able to move that much weight around and not just be completely immobile, right? But otherwise than that, he hurt everybody and it just sucked. But that was the epitome of the year that Vince thought, well, I'll just do all that. And that was the fucking year. 95 was their rotten year where he lost $6 million or whatever and took the fucking water coolers off the 4th floor, cut everybody's salary.
But don't they always say about Vince, and they say the same thing about Watts. You look at Watts in 85, you look at Watts in 83, that when things aren't going exactly how they hope they would go, they always go back to big guys, no matter what.
Well, and there was some truth to that, but I'll say that's why I was happy when Watts came in, because I was looking at what I was looking at, and I knew at least, A, Watts is going to fucking figure me into whatever the fuck is going on, right? But secondly, there'll be some logic to this, and he will, at least if he's going to use big guys, at least it will be serious big guys. It won't be cartoon gimmicks and just giant, you know, turds. And then that lasted for 2 months until Vince gave basically overruled him on everything that he tried to do after telling him that he wanted Watts to come in and have final say. And Bill said, I'll go home. There's only room for one Titan in Titan Sports. So it was right after that SummerSlam. It sucked. As I remember, the whole card sucked. I can't even remember what I did if I was on it. And then Watts came in and we were happy for 2 months, and then he went home, and then holy shit, then I ended up there about 2 months later. Jumping shitballs.
All right. And that's your thoughts on King of the Ring, Mabel?
Yeah, That's about it. What else can you think? Does anybody remember a great Mabel match, a great Mabel promo, a great Mabel angle? Or do they just remember that he was fucking huge? He was part of a joke undercard tag team, and then he was turned into a heel and hurt a bunch of people. Teddy Long had a heck of a story about him. Teddy Long said he used to just fucking take Viagra in the locker room and sit there naked with a heart on for no reason.
Okay. I'm sure he bought those Viagra from Teddy Long.
He did.
Well, there we go.
That's how Teddy knew about it.
Well, the locker room sure has changed in 2020.